If I had to describe episode 5 of God Eater in one word, it would be crazy, because this episode plays so differently than how I would imagine for it to be. But we see now, at the beginning of the episode, we have like some kind of black origami, and obviously it's like eating on something. But we see now that, after Linka and the other had turned in from their mission of getting these cores, we see now that obviously Linka is still very distraught about the thought of those people that they brought back now going back to the outside. And we see now that at one point he was definitely going to bring it up with Lendow, but he decided that it was best to like leave it alone. And we do learn that actually Lendow and Sakia, those two are actually from the outside world as well. And we have Soma here who is kind of like being a dick throughout the episode for the most part. But I feel that because Soma was like brought up with these walls around him protecting him, even though he goes out to fight the origami, he has no idea what it's like to survive without his guard arc and live out there as a regular person. Like that right there is like the one thing that he did not understand. So when he like blows this off, I feel that it's because of like his very own ignorance. And so we see that obviously there is nothing that like Lincoln can do right now. But when he goes to this like office worker or assistant, whatever you want to call her, but I believe her name was Hikari, he asked her just how completed is the Aegis project, and we learn now that it's 0.06% complete. That right there is crazy, because right now obviously we can see that like some work is definitely being like made now to it, but they still need so many more cores. Even if they go around taking out nothing but these like small like very fodder like origami, they would still need tens of thousands, and probably not even getting like 50% out of that. And even when it comes to the bigger ones, they still need so much more. So it's like definitely possible that this Aegis project might not be completed in their lifetime. It might fall onto the next generation, and if not the ones after, before we see the project finally complete, because I had no idea that their completion rate, it was that low. I thought at least like we'll get like a high number, like maybe 30 or even 20%, but I never would have thought it'd be that low. That right there shocked me. And we see now that apparently they can like monitor how many people are alive in the world, and we see some number in some section decreasing very like rapidly. So obviously like all these survivors have no choice but to like live in these very harsh surroundings till the project is complete. And I just felt so bad for those people. But we see now that while Linka was like so concerned for others, Soma here seemed to be giving another job. And we see now that like Linka here was like in his way of the elevator excuse me. And we have Soma here kicking him out the way, and when like steps inside, he asks him how prepared was he when he came here. But the thing is though, like no matter how prepared you are, when you see people in help, it's definitely hard to turn a blind eye. But we see now that Linka, Alisa and Kota, they were now given a job where they had to go out and hunt like I want to say medium size origami. But it turns out that that Alinga here, he wants to hunt a bigger one, because that way that right there will help when it comes to like speeding up the process, even though don't need so much more. And we see now Kota, even though this guy is like a male Sakura, because that right there is my nickname for him till he proved himself to me at least. We see now that he also wanted to hunt a larger one, and even Alisa, had put her 2 cents in, and all 3 of them actually wanted to do this. And we see now that Saki here, she really had no choice, but when she told them to back off, that right there, it's where they had to listen. And if she said withdraw, they would have no choice but to obey her and do that. And so we see now that at one point we see them fighting one, and at one point that actually did pretty well, taking it down, Linka and Alisa, that is. And we have Kota here, who was like very scared because another one has showed up, but we have Saki, calming him down. And we do learn that, even though even though Kota does not have a new type, he does have a modified one that belongs to the major. So that right there shows you that, they all believe in him. If they gave him such a strong, a god arc. And we see him at one point, he actually did finish off, that one, large origami. Like right now I forgot their name, but obviously, their species overall are called origami, so I'll stick with that. And so we see now that when the other one had actually ran back to his lair, we see now that there were like people inside it. And not only that, we see now that when Alice was following it, there was like another one in there. So right now they had to face not one but two, and then a third one had appeared as well. And so it was definitely not good for our characters here. And not to mention they had to worry about like these random people as well. So obviously, that right there was definitely a dire situation. And then out of nowhere we have the black origami coming in there and killing the other ones. It pretty much pulled in cannibalism move, like kind of like Tokyo Ghoul, like where the black one would be a ghoul eating other ghouls. And so we see now that while this origami was like eating on the others, out of nowhere Alisa, Alisa somehow knows the thing, and she called it by a certain name, like something like Dryas or Dias Pitas, something like that. Now I have no idea exactly what she said, but she is definitely familiar with this thing. And out of nowhere, she takes like a bunch of pills and charge in. And you think that Alisa would go ham, because right now we all know she definitely has some skills. But we see now that this black origami, it was no joke. Not only was I able to handle her, but it could also handle Linka as well, because he was like going to be her backup while we have the others get out of there, because right now obviously there was no way they could face this thing. But we see this black origami, and not only did it fend off Alisa and Linka, but it also went after all those civilians, and out of nowhere it attacked them along with Sakia. And then for the most part all you saw was blood everywhere as it killed all these regular people, and then you had the other ones running away. And now we see that this black origami, it definitely has some kind of intelligence, because it was actually pretty smart. Because to me it seemed like it was like treating this as a game of cat and mouse, where these humans would try to get away, but this black origami was always on their tail. And so we see that every time Alisa and Linka would try to fight it, things just got worse and worse. And we see now that some kind of change was happening in Linka, as we see now that these black veins were appearing out of nowhere, and they had this orange outline. So obviously something is definitely going on in his body that I'm pretty sure he is not aware about. But we see at one point that this black origami, it messed Alisa up. It threw her body into some kind of huge rock, and then we see her head hit a rock on the way down. So right now she definitely has some kind of concussion, but Linka definitely got the worst of it, because we see that when we go beast mode, we have this black origami impailing him, from his back through his stomach and pinning him down. And I thought for sure that Linka would get some kind of power up and go berserk, but no, this black origami was not playing around. This thing was very, very vicious. And so we see that after it had massacred all these people, and we have all this blood raining down on Linka, we see him now trying to get one good final attack, but that right there caused his guard arc to be broken even more, because we see at the first time, you know, Lincoln had tried to like really protect him. That right there caused his guard arc, you know, to like snap in half. And we do know that, you know, it can change and transform, but this black, you know, origami was not giving him the chance to do that. And then we have Saki and Kota now coming in there to give him backup, so that way him and Alisa could get away. And I thought for sure that, like, with a hole through his back and his stomach, like, there's no way Lincoln can move. I thought Alisa would like be doing most of the walking here, but this girl was like still knocked out. And I feel bad for like Lincoln for the most part, because he was the one that was like struggling so much, especially with the wounds he already had. Like, that right there, you know, you like definitely feel for a character, you know, in that moment. And also the OST that was like playing in this episode, you know, like around this scene and throughout the credits, to me it was brilliant. I love that song. You know, after I'm done with this review, I probably will go try to find that song, because to me, you know, it definitely stood out, you know, way more than the opening, and like way more than it will allow. Now, I don't normally listen to the ending of this anime, but I do believe that right there, you know, the one we heard in this one, I believe that's different from normal. So maybe that's why I was like so drawn in, because if this right here is the same ending song, then clearly I've been like missing out. But we see now that when Linka and Alisa were like trying to get away, and this black origami was like right on their tail, we see now that like it seemed that there was like some kind of bridge that obviously could not support their weight, and so we have all three falling, and obviously, you know, we have no idea what happened to the black origami, but we have Linka and Alisa falling into water, and that right there is when it ended. And then after the credits, we once again get a flashback, and so we see now, you know, for the most part, you know, it was just more of the origami cord, you know, being discovered for the first time. And then we have the U.S. Army coming to them, because right now, you know, many reports of these mutated animals are now being seen more and more, and at the center of this, they all had one thing in common, and that right there was like a single cell core that, you know, they were calling the Oracle cell. And so right now, that right there ties into this, and the video also showed the creation of the Fenrir, who we all know, and now it's the group that now go out there and fight the origami. So obviously now things are coming full circle, and for some reason I still don't believe that female scientist that we saw back then. But like for some reason I don't believe that she's a major that we see now. To me, they look way too different, but maybe I could be wrong. I have no idea. But the episode overall, to me, I thought was like definitely, you know, a lot better than most. I feel that my old racism might be a little too outdated, because normally I would like rate episodes, you know, those too high. So from now on, I probably rate episodes by my enjoyment. And to me, like I said, this right here was like better than most, at least. But of course, I would love to get your guys' thoughts on this. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And you guys take it easy. I will see you all next time.